This is the bug me, are you?
Okay, welcome everyone to the Virgin Authors Facebook program. We are three friends bonded by our love of writing, struggling to navigate the publishing world. You can find us on our website, on all the social media platforms, or here live a few times a month as we chat about the craft of writing, conferences, queries, publishing, book promotions. Really, we just love to talk about all of it. I am Mandy McGuire, and I am a Virgin author.
Hey, Mandy.
Hi.
Hey, guys, I'm Jana. I'm Jana Vandelar. But first, really quick before we get to the other ones, I have a quick plug, and it's basically on December 11th on Sunday up here in Winter Park, Colorado. If you're up here skiing, come visit me because I'm doing a book signing, and I'm going to be promoting my two little children's books that I self-published. But I don't know how to do this. So these will be available. I'll be with other local authors, so it's not just me, so you can get other books too. So I hope to see you guys. If not, check my website or the Virgin Author website because it's got all the information, the details. Okay, welcome.
Yay, everyone. That's so exciting, Janet.
I get shy about doing that, but thanks.
I'm Lissa Reese, and I would love to introduce tonight's guest. Because we said three, but you see four of us. This is Laurel Greer, who is a USA Today best-selling author of over 10 books, 9 of them published with Harlequin Special Edition. She loves writing about all the ways love can change people for the better, especially when messy families and charming small towns are involved. She lives outside Vancouver with her husband and 2 daughters. Welcome to the show, Laurel.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
We're so excited to see you, and cheers. We have to cheer you with our mug.
Yes.
First with Laurel Greer.
Cheers. I'm sorry we didn't send it to you ahead of time.
That's okay. I normally have tea, but I did that. I don't know.
You just didn't get it ready. We're going to talk with Laurel tonight about tropes as a plotting device. But first, before we do that, Laurel, if you don't mind, we want to talk a little bit about the Kauai Writers Conference because all 3 of us just got back from there. And that is we met up with a bunch of our friends from the Story Summit for the first time in person. So I just thought maybe each of you could talk about what was really great or what wasn't great. Just tell me a little bit about your experience, Lissa and Jana.
Yeah, I was totally knocked out by the caliber of the faculty at this event. I took classes from Rick Russo, Elizabeth Rosner, Josh Moore, Deb Engel, and Amy Ferris, for God's sake. It was incredible. And the manuscript critiques that I received were not only helpful, but kind, which is always nice. But honestly, the best part for me was that I got so many of my favorite authors to autograph my books.
Which we'll be talking about later because we have one. Yeah, no, it was so exciting. I have to start out with the fact that the conference was held in Kauai. Did we mention that? Hawaii. Where's my lay? I don't have a lay. Hawaii. And it was gorgeous, you guys. I mean, let me see. I have this hall written now, so I don't have to, but it was glorious. It was a stunning place for creative people to meet. I mean, it just gets our creative juices going. All classes were beyond expectation. David Kirkpatrick, who has started Story Summit, incredible. He's like the head of Disney. He was the head of Disney and Paramount. I mean, he's just like this powerhouse. He was a producer there. And Marta Kaufman. There are big names there that were just incredible that we were able to actually meet and talk to in person. So priceless. I have to just say quickly, Joshua Moore was one person that I had no idea who he was. He's an author. Brilliant man. And he had one class that constantly plays in my mind, a quick example of his advice, which is good for all of us virgins. He said, edit your 3rd draft. So when you're editing and you're on your 3rd draft editing here, he said, try using a non-linear method. So in other words, edit chapter 4, skip edit chapter 10, skip edit chapter 25 on one day, and then do the same on the next day, like 19, 2, 33. And this helps you actually make sure the chapters can stand on their own and each one tells a story. I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
You know, got that tip. That was
I
a really
know.
good one.
I've been doing it because I'm on like, I don't know, draft number 20, 23. I draft I'm on with this book. But even with that, I was like, oh my God, this is so helpful. So just a little tip for us virgins.
That's
Free.
great. Yeah. Well, I just sent out a newsletter through my website about this conference, and it was just impossible to describe. Like there were so many things. We met so many people. There were so many aha moments. Like it was really hard to even describe it, right? But I would agree with Lissa, like the quality speakers I thought were amazing. I had in one of my morning masterclass was Christina Baker Klein, who wrote the Orphan Train, Patty Callahan Henry, she's historical fiction with Surviving Savannah, Paula McLean, Meg Wolitzer, like these are huge names,
Right.
really great. And then my afternoon masterclass was with Ellen Sussman and Elizabeth Stark, who run the Sonoma Writers Camp. And kind of what Jenna was saying about techniques, they have these layering techniques where, again, you take just one scene and you work through all these different layers of just that scene, separate and not linear with anything else, so that each scene is like its own little story. And I think the great thing about these master classes is that they were so deep. We worked on our own writing. And so all the other students, you got to know them and their stories and their personalities. And it was just wonderful. So I think the most important thing, so many of us got to meet in person for the first time.
Networking. Oh my God.
We had a ton of
so many, all you guys out there who are visiting us now or later, thank you.
We had so many friends
are
from
so fun.
Story Summit that we had only known online for the last couple of years, and we all got to meet in person. So that was cool. So Laurel, what about you? What do you love or hate about conferences, and how does that play into the tropes that you write about?
I really love learning. I'm a teacher, and so any chance I have to sit down and listen to somebody else teach, I am all over it. And I always think that there's, no matter how many books you've written, there's still something to be learned about craft, I think. And so I'm always really happy to sit down and hear a good plotting class or character class. I recently went to a conference in Surrey, just outside of Vancouver, and Eliza Palmer, who writes novels, but also for BuzzFeed, she did a class on, one on the second act that was just amazing. But she also did one on burnout, and I almost started crying a couple times during the class. Like it was just so spoke to me. So I think those opportunities that you get to learn from other people are just fantastic. And it's also something that's wonderful about the writing community is that on the whole, everyone is willing to support each other. I would say chances are other writers are there to help you rather than hinder you, which I think is something you don't see in a lot of professional spaces necessarily.
It's a community all of a sudden at once, because we're writing so alone again, which is what we're Virgin Authors for together. Yeah, because you finally get to talk and you get to talk to your friends, you get to stand by. I call it the water cooler. You guys aren't buying it yet, but it's like the water cooler. That's what we are with Virgin Authors. And these conferences. I mean, you finally get to sit around and talk about what you're doing. And it's cool. So
absolutely. Yeah. So they're either great for learning or they're great for networking. Or
I pitched at the choir, and that was fun. I actually got somebody to ask for my whole book.
Yay! Have you sent it?
Yeah.
Have you sent it off?
No.
But she's still editing.
Jenna.
Laurel said it was okay when we talked earlier. So
just get it done. They'll want it when it's complete.
Absolutely. And here's the thing too, I got my agent through pitching at a conference.
Oh, I thought you got it through, you had to tell about, because, okay, go ahead.
Oh, that's different. Yeah. So I got my agent through pitching at a conference directly, but I didn't get her with the first project I pitched to her.
Oh.
I sent her the first project and she was like, almost, but not quite, but send me your next thing.
Oh, she did.
So like 2 years later, I thought to myself,
Oh,
You know what?
Wow.
I had actually
did you
rewritten.
remind her when you were there
Oh,
at the
years.
conference?
I didn't even see her again in person. I
Oh.
had rewritten the book, and
Oh,
I had changed it significantly. And so I thought, you know what? Why not?
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Worst thing is
Did you
she's
hear
gonna
that,
say no,
Marcus?
which you have to kind of get used to people saying no all the time. So,
Yeah.
but you gotta persist until you find that one yes. And second time around, she wanted it. So I signed.
And you've been with her through all these books?
I signed with her in oh gosh, around 2018. My first couple of contracts with Harlequin, my first 3 books, I did just by myself, because with Harlequin series you don't need to be agented.
Which is
Uh,
interesting.
yeah, their contracts are very boilerplate. There are definite advantages to having an agent, I would say, if you don't like dealing with the business side of it. But if you're a fairly persistent person who's not afraid to talk contracts with your editor, it really is completely doable without
Oh,
an
But
agent.
go back and talk about how you got that first Harlequin. I thought you submitted it directly to Harlequin, but you said you did it through PitMad. Is that right? Am I?
So that was how my agent, or that was how my editor, my Harlequin editor, found me. Yeah. What this was before I was agented. I had rewritten a project that was 10 years old, or I had revised it, and I threw it up on PitMad in December just to see. I was like, what does it hurt? Worst thing is there's a tweet up there. That's it, right? And in December, nothing happened, which I wasn't expecting it to anyways. And then in March, the event came around again, and I guess who became my Harlequin editor was searching with the contemporary romance hashtag and the adult romance hashtag, and liked my tweet. And
from 3 months earlier, you didn't
from
even
3
read?
months earlier.
Wow.
And Lissa,
And-
explain PitMad too after Laurel's done, because Lissa, I mean, people don't, we're virgins again, Laurel.
Oh
This
yeah.
was,
So
this was
Lissa
in
has-
what year? Because I don't think PitMad is what it used to be.
I haven't done it in a long time. This would
Yeah.
have been it would have been around 2017, maybe. Yeah.
I'm not sure if they even did it last year.
Yeah, I
Well,
think
and
Alyssa, you did it, didn't you? You're like a pro. So what is PitMad? And really quick, I have to say hello to Terry. She's Dr. Terry. I met her at the Quiet Writers Conference. So, hi, Terry. Okay, go ahead. So Alyssa, explain PitMad really quick, because it's
Okay, so it's a Twitter competition where there are very strict rules that you can look up online and just like Google PitMad. But you pitch your project as a tweet,
yeah.
and you use certain hashtags, and if agents are interested, then they like your tweet. So you have to make sure none of your friends actually like it. And they are specifically looking for certain projects. So you use a hashtag with the specifics of what your project is, and they'll look for you. I don't think there's any way in the world these days that they could do a search of a prior one, because it's just been flooded. And I thought I did hear that they stopped it, Mandy. Or it's different now anyhow.
yeah.
We'll Google and get back to you on the chat. We'll
But
find
I did have success with it. I had 3 different agents ask for my full manuscript, or for a piece of my manuscript. 2 of them came back and asked for the full manuscript, and I never heard another word from them. So
So you, Laurel, you got an editor.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, and they've been bowing down to you since we've been talking earlier. That's
all right, so
cool.
wait, so tropes. I want to talk about tropes.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're my favorite.
So your newest book that just came out, 2 days ago? 3 days ago, baby. This one. It's
Yeah,
a
okay, so wait,
friend
hang
for
on.
the
That's
lovers.
Again, because
That's
it's
the
gonna
American cover, and you did a different cover in England. What's that about?
let me say it again. Which one did you? I was
Oh.
looking.
Harlequin publishes in a variety of different international locations. I
Okay.
have no control over
Oh,
who buys my book or where it's published. It's just if any of the foreign editors comb the North American selection and sometimes publish some of the North American books and sometimes don't. Some of the lines publish in 20 countries. Mine
Wow.
special edition gets picked up fairly regularly in Australia and New Zealand.
That's why this guy looks like a New Zealand guy. That's that brother, Thor's brother. Doesn't it look?
It
He
does.
does look like a, yes, yes.
It does.
Oh,
A
I didn't know
lesser
that
Hemsworth,
was
who's not a
Australian.
lesser person, but
I don't
yeah.
know what this is. It Liam Neeson? I don't remember.
Yeah.
Liam Hemsworth.
Hemsworth. That's it.
You're
Okay,
right.
sorry.
He does. He's
It
the
does.
Australian.
I'm like,
Yeah.
whoever, you
That's
don't
a
have
good
control, but
point.
you got a good looking guy up there, guy.
I was really pleased when I saw that picture. So this is the North American cover.
Okay.
And I don't have a paper copy of the British cover yet.
It's
So
beautiful,
Mills and
though.
Boon is publishing it in the UK. I would say, I don't know, 3 of my 9 books have been picked up by Mills and Boon UK, almost all of them by Australia. They do a slightly different cover, and then sometimes special edition gets translated. There's been a bit of delay on that, I think, just because of publishing supply chain delays and stuff like that recently, but I've had them published in France and Germany,
That's so exciting.
which is wild.
Oh,
Yeah.
So this new one is a friends to lovers and a fake wedding.
Yes.
So tell us about it, and then tell us, like, how do you, and I
Right
saw on your
there,
website
wedding.
also, your website has information about different tropes.
Yeah, because I mean, a lot of people read, a lot of people read Harlequin and category romance for specific tropes. And I had seen a page like that similarly done. It was actually on Serena Bowen's website, and she doesn't write category romance. But I thought, well, I mean, that's a great idea, because then
Yeah.
people are looking for something specific. Because I do find that people, because Harlequins are on the shelf for such a short period of time in paper, but they're always accessible in digital.
oh, I didn't know that either. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah,
All right,
they're only
hang
on the
on,
shelf for
because
about a
we
month.
are
Month?
specifically appealing to virgins here. So maybe
Yes.
a definition of what a trope is.
That's true. I'm a virgin.
And also, what is a short time frame? How long are they in print?
So Harlequin series romance, which would be like special edition or Harlequin Presents or Harlequin Intrigue. There are about 11 or 12 lines.
Okay.
Those are in
Is it
print for 1 month
Oh,
before
1
the
month.
next set comes out.
Well,
Okay,
they have like the different breakdowns, which is hard to understand. if you're
yeah,
not-
and 1 month
Yeah.
is very short.
But they're physically on the shelf in like Walmart usually and a few other stores for 1 month.
Okay,
And some of the online retailers who retail digital and print will have them on the shelf for a bit longer if you order it online. Amazon, Chapters, Barnes and Noble, until
Sure.
they sort of sell out their stock. But even after that, they're still available digitally, which is amazing because it didn't used to be the case. I started reading category romance back in the 90s, and once a book is off the shelf, like it was impossible to find. You'd be combing used bookstores to try to find the rest of a series. So this is, I find it great now, but readers also tend to forget about older books. So I thought this listing of plot devices and character types and jobs would be a way to catch people's attention if there was something that they particularly love to read a lot of. So I would call a trope a recognizable plot device that has recognizable patterns to it, something like
for
enemies
instance-
to lovers.
There you go.
the
yeah.
boy next door.
Yeah. Some people will say like, oh, firefighter. And I'm like, no, that's more a character.
Okay. So what are some other
it's-
tropes then?
I would well, I mean, my book right now, Friends to Lovers, I would say like Snowbound would be a trope.
I'm good. I'm there. I'm here. But so
Yeah.
you're
Do you mean like
small town. Go ahead.
trapped because of a snowstorm kind
Yeah.
of thing?
Yes.
Yeah, trapped in a snowstorm. Yeah.
So it's your small town things, which is what Mandy writes a lot too. That's a trope, or is that not? Is
I would
that
call
fun?
small town probably a subgenre.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
it's
because you
branded
don't
on a-
always know exactly what you're getting with a small town romance. You know, it's a setting.
Okay. No, so
Versus a trope would be a situation that your characters are in,
interesting.
that you as a reader or as a writer, but readers have expectations when they pick up my book and they see on the back of it, you know, best friend. So best friends to lovers, they can expect to have, they'll have expectations about what plot events will occur just because they know it's a best friends to lovers romance.
Okay.
So on the one hand, as a writer, that gives you almost a format to follow, but it's also limiting in a way, isn't it? You can't really step outside your reader's expectation of what will happen.
I would say you can probably twist it. Editors are looking for people to take familiar ideas and present them in a fresh way, in a way that people don't often see. So you could twist, you could take a trope and kind of subvert it, which isn't always easy. It takes practice. I would say you, with a trope, if you're writing one, you often do want to try and meet some reader expectations, because you make promises to your readers with the back cover copy and with the type of book that you're writing. And if you break too many of them, then they will get mad at you.
For sure.
Yeah. I do think, though, you're talking about, like, it gives you a bit of a framework as a writer, and that's why I do enjoy writing them. Fake relationship, for example, when I think of a fake relationship book as a reader, it's one of my favorite ones to read. And because there's conflict inherently built into a fake relationship, you can expect at some point in time, two things will happen. One, the characters will each need to admit that it's not fake for them. So they'll need to realize it. And then potentially they'll need to reveal it to the other person. So that's like 4 scenes there, right there, that you know you're going to get to write.
Right.
So that can help you with plotting. And also, when is everybody else going to find out? And what's the inherent danger involved in them finding out? Like, you need to make sure that your stakes are big enough that when somebody finds this out, there actually is some sort of consequence for the character.
And there must have been conflict at the beginning for them to even do the fake situation in the first place.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah. What on earth is going on in this person's life that they need to fake a relationship? So
Desperate Housewives, that's a perfect. They have fake relationships all the
Tell
time.
me the setup of this story, because it's fabulous.
So this one here, I have in the prologue, the female character is actually engaged to somebody else. And she is about to head back to her hometown to participate in a do-it-yourself wedding reality show. And so she signed all sorts of contracts. Some filming has already occurred. Money has been spent. She knows this wedding has to go through in order to, not go bankrupt and not have her florist business go bankrupt. And then her fiance dumps her. And at the time she realizes, hang on, maybe I'm not quite as heartbroken as I should have been in being dumped. I'm a little bit more upset about the potential loss of my business. So she has some realizations about herself, and about the reasons why she was in this relationship that weren't quite fantastic. But she still has to go through with this wedding or initially she's like, oh, I'm just going to have to face the music and this is going to be expensive and I'm going to lose my business and what am I going to do? And her best friend is like, no, let's solve this problem. And then she realizes, oh, wait, hang on a second. You might do. Will you marry me? And so they enter into I would almost call it as much of a fake relationship. It's kind of a marriage of convenience, really.
Yeah.
Which is a similar trope, but not necessarily the exact same.
And I just started reading it a couple days ago. And so how far in did you have the fake thing realized by her? Like, you don't do it at the end like, oh, okay, I'm screwed and now, and then you wrap it all up in the last chapter or two where she gets the other guy, the best friend, to marry her? Or do you do it more in the middle? Like how's
them realizing they have feelings for each other?
Yeah.
They're more figuring that out, I think, I'd say from probably the midpoint onward.
You do.
Yeah.
It's like, and then, okay.
Because it follows a traditional romance arc, right? Like
Yes.
it doesn't matter what the trope is.
That's right.
The romance arc is still the same, with that inciting event and that midpoint and all of that still follow with any of the tropes.
But then there's still conflicts about how it's actually going to work out. Okay, cool. I can hardly wait to finish it. You guys, it's really good. You have to pick it up. Go on her website. I put it on our chat here. So go on and check.
For other virgin authors, then we have lots of friends who some write romance, some are writing women's fiction, poetry, all over the board. When we know, like when I read a book, I know which tropes I like you're saying, our readers pick certain books, they like certain types of tropes. So how can an author then use those tropes for plotting their next book? Because that plotting can sometimes just take so long, and like you have to come up with, I can come up with a boring plot, but like where's all the cool stuff and the fun stuff? Like how do I plot that?
I use
give us
I find with Harlequin I usually have 2 or 3 recognizable tropes in one book.
You do.
And so I think I just brainstorm at the beginning, and I think, with this trope, what are the reader expectations? And I think a lot of it comes down to reading a lot in your genre. I think that's a that's a rule that you must follow regardless of what genre you're writing in. You need to be familiar with it. So just like that, if you're going to write a trope, be it in a romance trope or a mystery trope or a horror trope, you need to have read a variety of them done well in order to be able to recognize the patterns and recognize the reader expectations. And I would think most readers, if they think about it, they're like, oh, wait, yes, I do have those expectations. You just may never have analyzed it before.
No.
And then for each character type you have, thinking about what are the things you always want in a book. And then for each of the tropes that you have. And then I usually take those lists that I've brainstormed of what scenes do I want. And also just generally in a romance, we want a meet cute. We want a first kiss. Many books want some sort of like ramping up the sexual experiences and tension. And then them saying, I love you at some point in time, realizing this person is the one. You want those scenes. Those are the money scenes. They're the payoff scenes. And so then just literally I make lists, and then I take a basic, like a 3-act structure or a 4. I divide mine in by the midpoint. So it's 4 acts, and thinking about when the inciting incident is and when the midpoint is, and turning points. I sort of plug those trope scenes in where they would make sense.
Yeah, you're my hero.
Pretty systematic then.
You guys, I remember hearing that from Debbie Maycomer at one time when I talked to her. It has it's almost scientific. So I don't mean to interrupt you, but it's a half an hour. 30 my time, but
that happens.
It goes so fast, and you're brilliant. I'm so glad. So definitely check her out on website. Get the book; it's fabulous. I'm so glad it's available now, and I guess you have to get it fast before the month is up.
It just came out on Tuesday.
Before we go, we have a book giveaway. I forgot. So we promised
do.
our book giveaway. Go ahead, Les.
We are giving away a copy of Empty Cupboards, which is the brilliant memoir written by our dear friend Stacy Powell's. Stacy was on our show several months ago.
Wait, everybody go. I got mine too.
Hey, we need to take a picture of this somehow.
We should take a photo of that for Stacy.
We will be after. Okay, go ahead.
we got to meet Stacy in person at the Kauai Writers Conference. So that was wonderful. And I'm going to see her again at her Spirit Conference. So but anyway, we are giving away Stacy's book. Gianna, who are we giving this to?
It says that we will be giving away a copy. Okay, so you have to know, giving away to the first person to tell us the date Stacy was live on our show, and you can find that out in different ways. Website.
And she
Website.
autographed it.
Yeah, that's so cool. And you can enter and answer through our website. Just go to www.virginauthors.com and then the contact page. And, you know, you have
Your answer there.
say that you have the contest for today and you know the answer. And I'm going to go ahead and put in quickly our website again. And Laurel's, yours is already on there. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you, Laurel, for joining us tonight. We appreciate you so much. And we're happy to support the launch of your new book.
Thank you so much for having me.
Charlene, hi. Charlene got on. I'm sorry. So sorry.
Oh, yay.
And Sandy.
Charlene.
Oh, Sandy and Charlene. Okay, go ahead.
Some of our new friends.
I know these are all new people we met, Laurel. So and now
We're all excited. We're losing our
That's
minds.
great.
Laurel, please tell our listeners how to find your books.
My books are available on all of the major digital retailers, and my website is just laurelgreer.com, and there's a page for each of my books on my website. That's probably the most central place to look.
Yay.
And they're fabulous. I mean, really, I've been so enjoying the first book. So we're excited to have you, Laurel. Well, you've been amazing.
And for our listeners, you can join us here on Facebook Live with the third Thursday of every month. And you can get more information on that website that Jana was mentioning, virginauthors.com. And thank you so much for tuning in.
Yeah,
Have a
Laurel
great
is our
night,
bonus,
everybody.
our bonus show. Yeah, yay, Laurel. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you. Thanks for joining us tonight, everyone.
Yeah, thanks, guys.